I did a 10-second countdown, and it's
Yeah,
no,
there you
we're
go.
live now.
Yeah, it's early. It's first show. It's morning. I'm barely awake. Just got my
We're
coffee.
oh god. Welcome to Breakfast Stakes, everybody. Too early in the morning.
Yep.
I should be drinking my pre-workout right now. Well, actually, no. I would have been at the gym by now, halfway done to my workout right now.
Oh my gosh, halfway done.
Oh
Holy
yeah.
crap!
Yeah, I wake up hella early. 4:30, 4:45 in the morning.
Yeah, I
You
got two
know,
friends of mine that wake up 5:30 every morning, and I don't know how they do it.
it's
But
amazing.
I'm learning. We just had a chat beforehand. You go get me on a new track here today,
We're, we're
hopefully.
we're gonna get you there. We're gonna get you there, man. We'll get you there one day. One day you'll get up with me.
Exactly.
It's
So
not bad, honestly. Like once you get used to it, though, the you know what the worst part is when there's a time change.
yeah,
That is when it gets. I don't know why it is. I'm like, oh come on, because you lose that hour.
right.
So I'm
And I
trying
need to
not
go
to.
to bed earlier too. That's the thing. I go to bed so late, and I'm a night owl. I scroll and all this. It's like, you know what? I
Oh,
need to just go to bed early.
see, dude, by 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm like, it is
Yeah.
gotta go to bed. I push it on Sundays. That's what the day that I do all of, for example, like that's why I do all of my editing for the some of the videos, and I do for the podcast and things like that. That's when I do. I stay. I put my daughter to bed, and off I go into the office.
Right.
And I'm usually up till like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Sunday night football is about the only time I stay up. I don't even normally stay up much for Monday night football. It's
No,
not normally a good game anyway.
last night was
Just-
actually not bad.
Last night was pretty good. The thing that sucked for me was the Bills weren't doing anything. They looked dead. I mean, I
Oh
two
no,
of my
they
two of my
look
fantasy
horrible.
guys, Cook wasn't running at all. I needed him to go off running. They weren't no rushing game.
Yeah, and I do I would like to send my condolences to your wife's fantasy football team.
Oh my gosh,
Yikes!
she's like I don't know what to do. She just didn't pick well, and she was kind of half into it to begin with, but then it's like there's nobody to pick up because we got so many teams in the
I
league, and people are hoarding players.
Well, not only that, but also we were talking about this a while back. Is in the NFL this year, and it's something that you and me both agree on, is that there's been so many injuries
Yeah,
early on in the season, like an unusual amount
yep,
of injuries, right? And we can both, agree that we can, tie it back to like the preseason. It's no longer the preseason,
right,
right? They really don't play each other. They got these scrimmages, but they don't really, scrimmage each other. So it's like
right.
you have a lot of injuries, a lot more injuries because people they're not ready.
Yeah, and a lot of these are just like we've talked about too. They're non-contact. They're hamstrings. They're muscle pulls. Like they're not going full speed before the season starts. So once they get out there and they're trying to cut, they're trying to run full speed. They're trying to beat a guy, and they're gonna pull stuff. They're popping Achilles. They're popping MCLs and stuff because they just don't train right. I
Agreed.
mean, and the thing is, they overtrain. They overtrain in one way and undertrain in another way. And I mean,
Hmm.
what I mean by that is like they overtrain in their diets, their workouts in the gym and stuff. They get so lean that when it comes time to make moves and stuff, there's no flexibility. They just don't have the not that the old way maybe it was just steaks and beers all the time was
No, no,
better,
I agree.
but
I
at the
agree.
same time, these guys didn't have injuries because they just didn't worry about being as muscle mass lean and body fat lean as these guys are now.
No. And guys, before we continue, this is a brand new show. Early in the morning. It's called Breakfast Takes with the Dad Head and the Mayor. As you can see, I'm the Dad Head, that's the Mayor. We're going to talk about Carolina sports, and we'll dive into a little bit of national sports, obviously, because it does tie into some of the Carolina sports. For
Yeah,
example, if you talk about the Carolina Panthers, we're going to talk about the NFL and what's going on in the NFL. If you see me talking very low, is I'm in my house studio, and I don't want to wake up my family.
same here. My Mrs. Mayor is just across the hall over there, so I try to keep it down as well.
But same here, like, right above me is my daughter, and if she wakes up, forget it.
Yeah,
She's like, "Daddy, what are you doing?" I'm like,
right.
"Don't worry about it," you know? And so, that's how it goes. So, we're gonna talk about, Carolina sports, not just North or just specifically South, it's both, alright?
Yep,
And that's what we're gonna be doing here. So thank you for joining us so early in the morning. We figured, you know what? Let's give our take on, sports radio early in the morning. Why not?
exactly.
It's actually I've been looking forward to doing this for a while because 'cause we've been doing this on our other shows, late at night that in the morning it's a little different.
Yeah, maybe we'll catch some people getting up before they go to work or whatever. I mean, you're up early normally, as we just said. I'm
Yep,
not, but there's other people that are probably up, and maybe it'll catch on a little bit. Streaming this to my Facebook and Twitter account too, just to see if anybody gets up, starts scrolling, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, what are they doing? So,
exactly.
and we'll start promoting this a little bit on other stuff too. We didn't want to promote it until we actually forced ourselves to do it because we've been trying to do this for what, about 3 months now, and
Yeah, exactly. This
schedules
is
have been crazy.
and it got busy. That's the whole thing. Like it's been busy for us, so it's like, let's just figure out a day. Let's just figure out a time, and we're like, you know what? Let's just do it.
Yep.
Let's just do it, and
So
then go
we'll
from there.
start with Monday mornings. Monday morning's easier for me because it starts my week off. My week hasn't gotten crazy yet, and usually I'm close to home most Mondays anyway. So
Exactly. And then we'll go over the weekend.
yep.
What happened during the weekend for some of the college teams. And then during the summer, we'll talk about some minor league baseball here in the States and all that. We'll talk about what else?
Yeah, I mean, we've got so much minor league baseball in the Carolinas that next season we'll have a lot to talk about with all of those teams.
God, so many teams, which I'm
Yep,
okay with.
yep, definitely.
I'm totally okay with. So let me see here. Just want to make sure that I got something done here. Oh, I put the wrong stream key. Somehow my Instagram wasn't working properly earlier. I don't know why, but that's how it goes.
I,
There it is.
I was fully expecting Jolly Gango to pop in here already, so
You
it's like the senses go off whenever you are on. It's
whatever
like
that one.
within like 5 minutes, boom, he's here. He's like, oh, there's my guy.
Nope, nope,
We're
there it
going.
is.
I know he's gonna be mad if he's not up early. I don't know if he's West Coast. I think that some of those guys are West Coast. So
West Coast, yeah. We're East Coasters here. We're
yeah,
like we're as far as Carolina as it can get. You know what I mean?
exactly. So
So anyways, we'll talk about
well,
that.
one
Go
of the
ahead.
things I was going to ask you about, just to jump in, we don't know much about high, or at least I don't know much about high school around here. Um, I don't
No,
follow it as much as I used to, but for this show, I'm going to start following it. But there was one story that popped up over the weekend in Charlotte, and I don't know if you caught this or not, but I caught it on social media. Charlotte Mecklenburg County is beginning to limit attendance to some of the high profile high school football games due to fighting and violence that they've had at some of the games.
I'm not
And
surprised.
the game Friday night between Independence and West Charlotte, they limited it to pre sale. They're not selling any tickets at the gate. You pre buy tickets. They only limited it to like 1,000 and something tickets. And this is a game that normally draws 5,000 people. And they limited it to like 20% of capacity for a big game
For the foreseeable future.
for the foreseeable future. And they're picking and choosing these big games. And so West Charlotte, who was hosting this game, would normally bring in about $25,000 in ticket sales. They got less than 9,000 in ticket sales. And you know concessions are going to be way down with 4,000 less people there buying
Hot
drinks and
dog.
I mean, wouldn't you just assign more police officers to patrol the stands rather
Yes,
than take that? I mean, these schools need
that's where
this
they make.
money.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they need that money. That's where they get
Yeah,
a lot of their like for uniforms, for travel, all of that.
right. That just seemed like a weird approach to be like, I mean, I get it. You don't want violence. You don't want people showing up, but I mean, yeah, heck, put the metal detectors there. They may even have metal detectors. I don't know. But, control with patrol is my slogan right there, you
But
know?
that's the thing though, here at the same time, like you go into that you you don't wanna cross that line of like, too much.
True.
You know what I mean?
True,
And
but
that's
and
the
I don't know how many normally are at a football game anyway. Because, like I said, back in my day, you didn't have to worry about stuff like that. It's crazier times
it,
now.
well, I was just gonna say time's a little bit different between when you grow up in high school, when I
Yeah,
went to high school, because I graduated back in 1999. I mean,
yeah.
it's been a long time since I graduated. Let's be honest,
I was
right?
86, man.
So again, it's been a long time since we've had to deal with any of that. And when I was in high school, there was security, there was all of
Yeah.
that, not to the level that some things are needed now. It's as
I
simple
mean,
as
we
that.
might have had 500 at our game, not 5,000. So I know
Yeah.
it's a whole other level too
Hmm.
in Charlotte and some of these other places that are bigger.
Yeah, I
I
grew up
don't know. It
in.
just seemed like an odd thing to be like, you know what? We're gonna cut how many tickets you can sell. We're just going
Yeah.
to cut your revenue stream in order to make it safer. And they showed the stands, and the guys announcing like we're getting ready to have the band play the national anthem again, and people are just sitting there, and it's just like what is going on? Like
Mhm.
there's no cheering. I mean, it's crazy.
Now let me ask you this, because and then at that point, then is it that school, specific school, that is like being targeted for because of their infighting within that one, or is there anything else? I mean, again, we don't know the
Right.
full story. I'm just listening. I'm just hearing this right now, so I got to do more digging on this one. But it's like,
Well, I think next week is a different two. It's two different schools that I saw it. So next week's game, I don't even remember. I should have made note of that. But in reading the article, I think it said there was a different game next Friday that they were already limiting tickets to. So it's what they call the high profile games, the big rivalries, or the two of the bigger schools. There's a lot
I
of
get that.
smaller
Okay,
schools in Charlotte that aren't affected by this, but
but we're
the big
talking about the
schools.
profile. It's a big
Yeah, the
profile.
big high profile schools, the ones that are probably the money making programs with all of with the rivalries, and the ones that probably are going to draw the
Yeah, no, you're
the
right.
the bigger nefarious crowds of people that are going to fight each other.
I
So
Yeah, I absolutely. It's and again, I want to be careful with what I say, right? Because
yeah,
we don't know the full story,
sure.
and two,
That's one I
we
want to follow and see how it goes. That's kind of why I wanted to bring it up and
yeah,
kind of dip
absolutely.
the toe in the high school football world here. We'll keep an eye on this story, and I need to dive more into some of the high school football scoring and see what teams are at the top, what teams are where, both in North and South Carolina.
Phew, that's a lot of high schools, brother.
Yeah, it's like with our college picks, I can only go so far. I'm not like Virgil. I can't dive down into the private schools and the low A and all this. Like
The FCS and all that
yeah,
stuff.
right. I'll keep a track of some of the bigger name schools and stuff, and we'll throw a few little smaller ones in there to give them some shout out sometime. But yeah, I got to get my Friday night follow up going here a little bit.
I That's a lot of work, brother. And again, we'll tackle these kind of things like on Monday mornings. Like, we'll go over the weekend. We'll go over some of the scores, some of the big news going on in North and South Carolina, and then we'll go from there. For example, a game that on Saturday, and then we'll jump right in. Your school, your alma
Yep.
mater, Clemson, putting the beat down on a North Carolina team, UNC,
Yep.
the Tar Heels. How did you watch any of it, or how did you feel about that game?
I didn't watch any of it. We were at the Oktoberfest in Newberry, hanging out
Mhm.
with some friends. All obviously several of my friends are following the game. Um, we got there about 10 o'clock, and about 12:30, 1 o'clock, we went to go find some food. We're standing there in line, and I heard the score. We were up 28-3. I was like, "Whoa, what happened?" And that
Yeah.
was like the first quarter, and or I guess it was earlier than 1 o'clock. But anyway, it was very quickly into the game, and I was like, "Dang, that was fast." And
Yeah,
I
they
thought,
scored quick, and really didn't score much after that. Like, I mean, the second quarter, they scored a touchdown, and then in the fourth quarter, they got a field goal, and that was it, though, for Clemson.
yeah, I think by the at least following online, it looked like we had our backup quarterback in second half, start second half, and
Antonio Williams.
probably yeah, probably played a lot of backup guys, which that's what Clemson used to do a lot. As these first games of the season,
Mhm.
we would get so many guys in. I mean, back when when Chad Morris was there, before he left with the offense, and before this current regime with Riley, Clemson was known for their goals were to play 70 guys in a game. I don't know if it was a goal. It seemed like a goal to me as a fan because that was what
Mhm.
we kept hearing. 70 something guys would get into a game, and they would try to run as close to 100 plays as they could on offense and defense.
Huh.
And they don't have that mentality now. I mean, it was like constant. Chad Morris was like play, 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 fast paced. Let's get as many offensive plays in as we can. I shouldn't say 100 plays, offense and defense. I think it was try to get as many offensive plays in as they could, and they
Mhm.
were getting 80, 90 plays in a game, which is like insane.
Jesus.
And we almost every game, especially the ones against lesser competition, the non-conference early games and games like this against somebody in the conference, it was like, man, you're by the time you got to the end of the season when you played, whoever that year's big rival was or big competition was, whoever the other top ACC teams were, you were prepared. You had guys, you had depth built, and we've got
Jeez.
the talent. We just haven't gotten the playing time because we've just been horrible in our coaching. And I know it starts at the top,
Yep.
and it's
Was
his
just
decisions on who he's got calling plays and bringing in. Um, and I know among my friends and roommates from college, it's like the nepotism's got to stop for one thing. I mean, I get trying to give former players a chance to learn coaching, but you can't just put them in a position where they're over somebody or a group of players and they don't perform. That's like you never do business with family because then you got to
Oh
fire.
no.
Then you got
Yeah.
to fire your friends, and it's hard to do that. You don't put yourself in, don't put them in that situation.
Yeah. Don't put yourself in that position.
So many of these programs have these advisory roles on their staff. I mean, look at all the rehabilitated coaches that come back and go from
Mm-hmm.
programs, and they're there for advisory role. They're not actually game day coaches. That's where these guys should be. If you want to bring CJ Spiller, Grisham, some of these other former players back to coach, let them learn from the actual coach that's over that group and not be the guy. Because
Right.
I don't think and I'm not trying to say nobody can be a better coach that's a former player, but some of these guys just don't have the right mentality to be the coach.
Why can't and again, I understand why they do it, right? They want to make sure that they are developing these coaches and then eventually to take over, right? Because a lot of there's high turnover in college football. We all
Yeah,
know, not just in the actual players, but the coaches themselves. It's a high turnover, like because one of them is
yeah,
like, all right, I'm going to go be a head coach at this FCS team or whatever Division 2, Division 3, just because I want to coach. I want to get the experience.
right.
S and I get that, and you wanna give the opportunity to all those players, uh, and I g do hmm,
And I hate to keep on picking on CJ Spiller because I love him, but he's
yeah,
not a good running back coach. And Tyler Grisham's not a good wide receiver coach. They were great players. I could have seen him bringing them into the program as an advisor
just
coach,
because you were a good
grad assistant,
player.
right? And right, you learn from the actual running back coach, and then you get your job as a running back coach at, say, Wofford or
Right.
Furman
Ooh,
or some other school. A smaller school. If you want to stay in the area, find a a smaller school to start off at,
right.
and then if you prove yourself at that level, then it's like,
Mhm.
okay, this guy can coach up some backs. Let's bring him in. No, you don't just throw them to the wolves in your own program and then wonder what happened.
Hold on a second, and I'm on the Instagram Live. Phil, you did not sleep in late, my friend. This is an early show. It is Breakfast Takes. You are right on time, my friend. You're right on time. We're talking about your state as well, South Carolina and North Carolina. As my friend drinks his coffee, I think coffee is gross. That's why I'm drinking water.
I got to get something to perk me up here. So,
I usually this is better about that time that I'm drinking my pre-workout so I can go to
right.
the gym. So actually, no, like I said, like I'm finishing up right about now
Oh man.
to go home. Yeah.
Yeah. All
So
right.
it'll
Well,
be interesting. But I wanted to touch up on that, and then again, let me ask you this because a lot of people had high expectations, right? Like super high expectations for Bill Belichick coming in at UNC.
Yeah,
I didn't.
I didn't either. He hadn't done anything the last few years without Tom Brady to show me that he could do anything at any level,
Right.
much less his first time coaching college level kids. And I get college is different now, and I think that's why he took it. College level is it's more like the NFL without him having to deal with the NFL player problems because he can kind of control these guys to
Right.
some extent
Right.
until he can't, and they decide they're going to go somewhere else. And I think he thought there were a lot of guys that were going to be like, "Ooh, I want to go to North Carolina to play for Bill Belichick." And there's a lot of guys that are like, "I don't want to go to North Carolina to play for Bill Belichick."
Hmm.
So I don't know how it's going to shake out for the. I mean, it was a great thing for North Carolina from a publicity standpoint and an exposure standpoint. I think it's going to be a bad thing for their program for years right now because I think he's like I liken this already to when Spurrier came to South Carolina. He was
Oh,
he had a couple of good years, and it's a totally different scenario. But Spurrier just like he had a couple of good years because he inherited a decent team from uh from Lou Holtz because Lou Holtz recruited well and coached well until he just got too old to be coaching,
yeah.
and they were ready to move on. And of course, South Carolina, all the old guys here that control that university, all the politicians and top people in South Carolina, and that's a whole other story of how that university is run, from my opinion. And it's not a Carolina versus Clemson thing. It's just my perception. Anyway, all those guys who were more concerned about the name than the substance in their coaches
Well, they
was
needed
they're
a
like, we've
name.
got to have a name. We got to have
Yeah.
a name, and they got Spurrier, and Spurrier won for a few years because he had a good group of guys. He recruited a couple of people, but then he got bored. He was like, you know what, I'm done. He checked out a couple of years before he was done, and he stopped recruiting worth of crap. Nobody wanted to come play for him. It just got old. The
Yeah.
shtick got old and everything, and that's kind of where it is with Bill. I mean,
How
Bill's
old is
heyday
Bill
was
now? 70s?
74, 70, he's 70 something. And you know, he had a great run with Tom Brady. And I get when Tom left, he wanted to kind of try to prove that it wasn't
That he
just
could do it
Tom.
himself, yeah.
It was Tom.
Yes, it was Tom, but at the same time, we got to give him a little bit of credit because he also did a lot, right? I mean, for that franchise, he was there. Like, I mean, he's the one that drafted Tom Brady as well.
Yeah.
So they were successful with Drew Bledsoe and all of that. But like coming back to North Carolina, yeah, Phil says 5 straight wins over Clemson. Just saying, he's giving you that one. Yeah, so
Yeah.
he got
Okay.
you there. But again, going back to Bill Belichick is I want to see what a full year is.
Yeah.
Like let's give it a year. And, like I didn't think that they were going to be ranked. I didn't think that they were going to win too many games either, just because he's just coming in. They didn't have a lot of time in between from him taking over the coaching to see what's going on out there. So like I mean there has to be some leeway there. And I don't know if the school was ready for that. I don't know if the school was like, we need you to win now, now. Like
Right.
we you know what I mean? So like and this whole like his whole girlfriend situation, right?
That's
That
the messed
also
up part of this, really.
right.
Like, if she wasn't there, the story wouldn't really be what it is. It's the fact that she's part of the story, she's a college age person basically
We're dating a
at a
70 something
college,
year old. Yeah,
yeah, and
100%.
and he's a college coach. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, we laugh about Bobby Petrino and his thing back in the day when
Oh my God, with the
he was,
motorcycle.
yeah, with the motorcycle, and he was dating like some student that's like, it's kind of the same thing. It's not, but it is. It's like, come on,
No, I'm with
guys.
you. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So, you know, North Carolina knew what they were signing up for. They had to,
They
at least
better.
from the Belichick circus. And I'm like you. Give it this year. I think he's got 3 years in him at most. I mean, two
Could be.
maybe.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I give him 2 right now.
Three, I think in his mind, he's like, okay, I can do this for 2 or 3 years. And then I know everybody suspects his son's going to eventually take over. I think they thought that in New England too. I don't see that happening either.
Bro,
North Carolina's going to be like, I don't know about
his son looks so psychotic.
that. Yeah, I would be like, no, thank you.
His son looks. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Mike,
His son looks
Holzinger
so.
up early
I
today.
know. Look at you.
He's got to go to the grocery store probably though.
Yes, who probably got to go work. Exactly. Yeah, he looks psychotic, and
He
so,
does.
um,
But I'm like you. I think give it a year and see how this season plays out because
mhm.
I don't think anybody expected it to be good to begin with. The amount of players he had to bring in after Matt Brown and
He
most
wasn't able to do any kind of recruiting. He hasn't done
right,
any recruiting technically.
right. He basically ended up with players that had nowhere else to go but come to North Carolina. Some of them maybe did come to play for Belichick or their
Right.
perception of Belichick, and hopes that maybe with his connections he could get him to the next level. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know anything about his other staff because you never hear about his staff. So
True.
I couldn't even tell you who his OC and DC are. But if he's got people that are decent coaches,
Mhm.
they'll eventually do a little bit. But it's a matter of a recruiting cycle. So we'll see what he can bring in for next year. And
Yeah.
it's hard to even say that anymore though with the portal and stuff. I mean, the recruiting cycle is how much can you get coming in and who can you keep from leaving? So,
Okay, so let's talk about that. This is a sticking point between that we've been talking about for a while now, right? We talk about NIL, we talk about transfer portal and all that, and you're not much of a fan of really either, really.
I, I'm not. It's not that I'm not a fan of it. I think it's good for the players. I think it's bad for the players in a way
Okay.
too.
All
I
right.
think I, I think it's you have players that these programs see as I got to have this guy. We're going to pay him. We're whatever. I don't even know how the NIL actually works, other than we've got all this money. We're like, all right, we're going to give you a bunch of money to come here, and we're gonna, I don't know, just we're going to give you $1 million a year to come play for us, or you're going to give you, $100,000 depending on what level player you are.
Right.
And these guys get this money, and then they come in and they're no good. It's like, well, what did you pay for? Because you're not getting any return on your investment.
Right. You're
Or
right.
you do pay a guy and he comes in and he performs well, but then somebody else is like, I'm going to give you more. And he's
Mhm,
like, okay,
mhm.
after a year, I can just go somewhere else. I don't like the ability for them to just
Transfer out.
transfer out
Yeah.
repeatedly because that's the part of it that gets me, and the part of it that gets me too is everybody, and I mean everybody in air quotes, thinks that it's the end all be all to make your program successful, and it's not. I mean, I don't see Alabama or Georgia or any of those guys bringing in a boatload of transfers, portal transfers, and NIL guys, and it making that much difference. They
You
are
know
making some difference because they're going to get more of the top portal transfers, if that makes any sense.
no, it does,
But
but here's the
as a
thing, though.
university, you've got to be selective, and maybe Clemson's too selective. But you gotta use this to fill holes, not fill your roster.
And I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you, but, like, at the same time, the SEC has not been what it was before post NIL.
Right. Because everybody's getting
I was like,
players.
"Oh, no, we got you now. Oh, we can play
Yeah,
in the same like, we're gonna pay people now. Oh, okay, cool. Hold on a second. Here comes Ohio State. Here comes Oregon. Here comes Washington. Here comes, all these other schools. Hell, well, even some FCS schools are gonna be like, "Yeah, we'll get in the game because we can spend some money
right,
in keeping our players." Now, here's what I'll say, because a lot of the times there's some of these players that get the NIL and then they leave and they still get the money. Like, there has
right,
to be something in the contract written that said, "You leave, you forfeit this money."
right. Well, like the story we passed around the other day about the kid that went to, I can't remember where he went to now. He came from the smaller school, went to, was it
Mhm.
Oregon, I think?
Yep.
Yeah, Oregon paid him to come from one of the smaller schools, and he's like the fourth string running back. It's like, can we get a refund here? I mean, what the heck? It's
Mhm.
like, okay, what this is a bust right here as far as NIL is concerned, and and
But
and
you
and
did pay
really,
him. So,
you
see,
did
that I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with if hey, listen, you got me out of an FCF school or a Division two school, and you wanted me here. I
Right.
didn't want. I wasn't looking to transfer. You wanted me here, right?
Right.
So I get that part. Maybe he'll transfer out and go somewhere else where he'll be able to be a starter, right? Because his take is probably, hey, I'm going to get a lot more views now, and I'm going to get a lot more opportunities for me to start, which he didn't because he's the
Right.
fourth string,
Yeah.
right?
But that goes back to the problem of multiple transfers too. It's like, okay,
At some point,
they
you got to stop transferring, dude.
exactly. I mean, you should be able to say, look, yeah, you transferred here. You got paid, but you're going to stay here for 2 years. You're not going anywhere else
Like,
either.
dude, chill. Stop.
There's got to be some
Right.
limitation to the movement.
It's
And
and also that goes with coaches as well.
oh yeah, well, and that's the thing I've never liked about the coaches is like they could just up and leave. And again, that goes back to part of why kind of got started is like, hey, these guys can leave and go get more money. Why can't we get paid some or go where we want to go? That's a fair market system. And I get it. I'm not opposed to it. I just think it was just it's never been implemented the correct way. It's just it was Wild West. It was just thrown out there, and there's no rules, and
No.
nobody wants to make any rules because if you put rules in place, then that affects our ability to do what we're doing right now without rules. It's like right now it's like the 80s above table.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
and that's crazy. It's like it didn't work below the table. Now it's above table and it's
Right, it's
still
like under
not
the
working.
table and everybody's like, "Hey, we know what's going on, but
Exactly.
we don't know what's going on." Now it's
And
like, "Oh,
like
we know what's going on."
I mean, look at A&M. Texas A&M spent a boatload of money under Jimbo Fisher, and where did it get them? It got them nowhere.
Nowhere.
They spent a boatload of money on him. They spent a boatload of money bringing players in when it was first started. It's just they just it didn't work, and
No.
and 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 that's the point I try to make is like it's not the end all be all.
No,
Okay,
no, no, no,
don't
no.
don't don't expect your coach. Don't look at your coach and say,
That's why
"Well,
recruiting is important, right?
right." And this is
Recruiting.
again, I know you get on me when I defend Dabo about the portal and stuff,
I
but
love
that
messing with
that's
you with
my
that.
I know you are. That's my point about Dabo is I don't expect Dabo to be out there bringing in 15 guys and paying 15 guys a boatload of money to make the program better. I expect him to go out there and get 5 or 6 guys to plug a hole where he needs something better. Like right now, I'd spend $1 million a piece for a lineman that could block.
Bro,
I mean,
you need some help at defense
that's
and offense
that's
line.
where I mean, that's where I don't understand every year in all levels of football. It comes down to your offensive line, and nobody spends money on offensive line. It's not sexy, but man, I would spend every bit of NIL money
Spend
I
it.
had on the best offensive lineman. If there's an offensive lineman going to Ohio State and he's getting $1 million, I'd be like, I'll give you $1.5 million to come here.
Right.
You know?
I just got a comment on Instagram Live. I was like, I thought this was actually breakfast takes. I was going to support skillets. This is breakfast takes. Like, this is our takes on sports right now on Carolina's sports. I say Carolina because it's both South and North, right? Or
Yep.
North and South, which way
He
you want to say it.
he lives in North Carolina. I live in South Carolina. We're going to
Right.
try to cover mostly South Carolina based sports with this. So we're kind of
Yep.
getting our feet wet a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And back to Clemson real quick.
Yeah, because
The
Clemson's
problem I had, if it's a problem with Clemson, is that North Carolina's so bad that it looked score wise like we did a lot. We
you
didn't.
didn't
Every one of our scoring drives was like 40 something yard pass, 60-yard pass.
like
We
big
did
big
not move
plays.
the
Yeah.
ball, big plays.
Yep.
And we had our running back had less than 50 yards rushing or something like that. I don't have it in front of me now, but Randall just didn't run the ball much at all because it was all just big pass plays.
Yeah,
And
I'll give you. Yeah, so let me see here. Punt returns, they were average 17 yards. There was only a couple two there. It, ugh, it wasn't much going
I mean,
on.
Klubnik had almost 300 yards passing or something like that.
Again, but it was because
But
why
because he had like three passes or 2 touchdown
he
passes that were like
yeah
70 or
254 yards.
254. Yeah,
Yeah, with 4 touchdowns, he averaged about 10 yards, right? And then
right.
Antonio Williams had 75 yards, and that was it. One touchdown. He went 1 for 1 with a touchdown. Chris
Vizina,
Vizina,
he's the
6
backup
for
quarterback.
11. Yep. 39 yards, and he averaged 3.5. His QBR was 51.
Yeah, he's not a good backup quarterback. He's an okay guy, but he's not somebody that's going to light it up in
Right.
college and play. None of our guys are going to play pro. Klubnik's not going. If
So
he
you
goes
got
pro, I'd be surprised.
he'll go pro in the Arena League. Uh Adam Randall. So that's your running back right there. Number 9, Adam Randall. 8 carries, 30 yards. His longest, 9 yards.
Right. And that's the workhorse we should be. I mean, he moved from wide receiver to running back because we didn't really have much in the running back, which is, again, that goes back to what I said earlier about Spiller. We're not recruiting good running. We used to have a lineage of running backs. We'd have
Mhm.
5, 6 deep. We just don't have the running back. So we move Randall, who's a huge receiver, a lot of speed at running back. So now you have should be a dual threat. With his body, he should be pounding it up the middle, and he should be able to catch anything in the flats because he was a receiver. They're just not.
He did get 73 yards at wide receiving, right? Yeah, he got 4 receptions, 73 yards.
Yeah,
He averaged about 18.3 average. 2 touchdowns there though.
yeah,
So his longest was 35. And here's
right,
the thing, here's the one you're talking about, TJ Moore. 5 receptions, 108 yards, 1 touchdown. The longest was 75 yards. Again, we go back to what you were saying.
right.
The
It's
big plays.
it's the big plays, and that's
Right.
you can't live on big plays. You cannot. You've got to supplement. But that's my point too. Is the game against North Carolina is not indicative. When you look at it, you're like, oh man, look, they were scoring, they were doing like no.
Well,
North
both
Carolina is
teams.
so bad that we went over the top and hit them for a handful of big plays, and statistically, it looked like we had a great game.
So here's what I'll say, because both Clemson and North Carolina have the same record.
Right.
They're both 2-3. Granted, you are 1-2 in ACC play. You've already had 3 games there. The Tar Heels have only had 1 game in ACC play.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's so early. They're both unranked at this point. I think at this point, I think we can safely say that both, if Clemson, finds a way to win their conference, but I think they're pretty safe to say that they're not going to make the playoffs,
Right.
especially North Carolina.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting game. I'm not going to talk about the NC State game because NC State went to go play Campbell,
Right.
right? Well, Campbell went to play them, and yeah, that was
Well, the other schools in North Carolina and the ACC all won. So North Carolina was the only one to lose over the weekend because
because we're
Duke went
playing
out.
another ACC.
Right. Duke went all the way out to Cal and beat them.
Yep.
NC State, like you said, played Campbell. Wake Forest. That looks like that was a pretty decent game, 30-23 over Virginia Tech. And Virginia Tech's kind of in that. What are they going to
Well,
be?
another team that lost was Florida State because they were
Yeah.
playing Miami.
Yeah. Florida State lost to Miami.
Virginia beat Louisville.
Yep.
Virginia beat Louisville 30-27. Boston College got their rears handed to them.
I think Boston College is who we've got next week, so that could be a good
That should
sign
be a
for
good.
us.
They're like, you need that win, right,
We
to get you up
definitely
to
need that.
500.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and Duke, hey, Duke did their thing, right? Because now they put a whooping on Cal 45-21. That's not bad, man. I like that.
Yep.
That's some good ACC for you boys and girls. Again, I'm not talking about NC State because they went to go play an FCS team. We know what this was for, right? They paid Campbell so they can get Campbell was going to get their money, and NC State needed the win. And NC State is 4-2 right now.
Yep.
Ugh. Let me see. I want to see what their ranking is on the ACC. That's not going to give me that. So ACC is interesting.
Yeah.
I want them to be stronger. I want them to be a stronger conference.
You
I
know,
want them to be compared to the Big Ten, and of course, everybody talks about the SEC, but I want them to be competitive because obviously, look, Texas. What happened to Texas, dude?
right? Well, again, Texas has no business in the SEC, and neither does Oklahoma. I mean, these teams that jumped in these conferences, they got no business being there. I get why they did it, but it messes the world up.
Is it
Um,
safe to say? Is it safe to say that the teams that went to the SEC are struggling more than the teams that went to and jumped to the Big Ten?
oh, absolutely. And hot take from Donnie: the Big Ten's not as good as the SEC. So it's easier for these
Oh,
teams to jump in and be better because the Big Ten is more top heavy than the SEC is. The SEC's been both of them have always been top heavy.
okay.
Um, there's just more top heavy in the SEC. It's more spread out because you probably could name 5 to 6 teams in the SEC, and you'd be like, okay, 3 of those in the West, 3 of those in the East. They're always in the top, whatever.
Hmm.
You talk about the Big Ten, there's maybe 4, 3 or 4. You
Okay.
got
So
Ohio
Ohio State,
State, you got
Michigan,
Michigan.
Penn State for a while was
Okay, you're
there.
falling off at Penn State. What's 4?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Iowa.
Okay,
Iowa is always in the middle of the road when it comes to the
right.
top 25.
Okay, so
No, I'm not
you
disagreeing.
got two and a maybe. You go to the SEC, you've got Florida. I mean, I'm talking historically. You've had Florida,
Well,
Georgia,
say, and that's what I'm saying. Like with historically with
Alabama, LSU. Like you can start naming 5 or 6 teams that any one of those teams could be ranked number one at any time. And again, so that goes to my point. I think
what
Oregon
his I get
and
you. I'm with you, but
yeah,
like you also gotta you gotta look at, like, Wisconsin was actually not a bad team, early on.
true.
They have fallen off. Purdue, falling off a little bit. But now you have, and I don't count Northwestern because Northwestern
Mm-mm.
only had really one good year.
I mean, you got to think in like the national picture. It's
Yeah,
Ohio State,
Nebraska.
Michigan, Penn State, and
Those
then
are the
blah.
no. I will completely 100% agree. Now you have Washington, right? Now you have Oregon, who is in the Big Ten now, right? So those teams are going to be interesting to see. As far as I just got a text message
I,
from Eric. Did you
I
get
saw it
that?
too.
Our good
What
friend
this
Eric.
guy's doing, go to bed.
And Phil says on Instagram Live, I miss when conferences made sense. Bring back the Southwest Conference.
He's not wrong. It's like
I'm
they've
not.
gotten so
You're right.
big. They've gotten
Yeah.
so big that they've become irrelevant. I mean, and because it's so big, you go down the top 25 and you can count, I don't know how many. I mean, let's go down real quick. So you got Ohio State, Oregon, Big Ten. You got Big Ten,
Yep.
ACC, Big Ten, SEC, 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 Big Ten, SEC. Texas Tech is Big 12.
Hmm.
So you got one Big 12 in the top 10. SEC, 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 ACC, SEC. Big 10, Notre Dame. Big 10, BYU.
Yep.
ACC, SEC, Arizona State, Iowa State, Memphis, South Florida, ACC. I
That
mean, you've got
and Arizona State's Big 12, by the way.
Arizona. Okay, so Arizona State's Big 12, Iowa State's Big 12.
Yep.
So you
Correct.
got, I mean, you got what, 4 Big 12 teams, a boatload of SEC teams, a few Big 10 teams, and a couple of ACC teams. And Florida State's barely in there anyway. The way they've been lately, they probably shouldn't still be in there.
Well, they did drop 7 spots
They did.
to be, to be 25th. So like they keep playing the way they're playing, they're gonna find themselves out unranked.
Well, they're going to turn it around because they've got Pitt, Stanford, and Wake Forest. So that's 3 in a row they should win.
Right.
If they win those, they'll middle around in the bottom half of the top 25.
Yep. 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 Yep.
And then they play Clemson. That's going to be our big game. For coming up as well. But I mean, we've got Miami who's in there. We've got Georgia Tech surprisingly at 5-0, Virginia. So we've got teams, and this is my argument for the ACC being. People hate when I say it too, that the ACC is more balanced and always has been. The ACC has always been competitively more balanced than a lot of these others. They're not top heavy because the top's always different. Clemson, luckily, has been one of the top teams forever. And many years ago, it used to be just Clemson and Florida State, and then nobody.
Yep. But
But
then you
all
also
of
have
the
Florida. The Gators for a while was there.
well, that's SEC.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right.
But when Miami joined, Florida State joined, they moved to the top of the ACC. Clemson worked their way up; they were the top, and we were top heavy from that standpoint as well. But in more recent years, Virginia Tech's usually been relatively good. The fact that Georgia Tech and Virginia are in the top 25 right now is a sign of the
Thanks.
it was a sign of the NIL and the portal helping some of those other
Right.
teams.
Let me
South
ask you.
Carolina was up in the top 25 at one point this year until they weren't because of some of the same thing. NIL transfer people got them up there, but they haven't sustained it.
Okay, so let me ask you because, and this goes back to your school and some of these schools. Like, is messaging getting lost with the students now? Because Dabo has been a very successful coach for a long time, and then now all of a sudden he can't. His team is not responding. Now, is it a messaging? Is it that people are no longer really listening to him? Does it need younger blood to come in there? And same with North Carolina. Same with a lot of these other schools. Like you got these coaches that have been there, they keep doing it and doing it. Like it's just like, listen, we're just copy and pasting what we did at other schools, and we're going to bring it over here. Like, dude, can we change the messaging?
I don't know that it's. I mean, from what I've heard in interviews with players, th- they they fully support Dabo.
Mhm.
They are, in fact, it's one of those things like, people in New England used to never say anything because Bill Belichick never said anything. Well, you hear Dabo talking about how close they are. It's just, one play here, one play there. And you hear the same thing out of his players. They drink the same Kool-Aid and they
Yeah,
are all
yeah.
about that. But what you don't hear again, and I'm going to beat this dead horse, is Garrett Riley is a horrible offensive coordinator. He just
Mm,
really is,
okay.
and none of the players are going to say that because their jobs depend on him putting them into play.
Yeah.
But and I don't know anybody that would directly say anything about Riley either, but he's the problem. He is ultimately the problem, in my opinion. His play calling is so vanilla and so boring. I told somebody Saturday, I said, give me a sheet of paper. I can draw 10 plays that would work better than most of the ones he has. I think you could. I think I don't know what it is, but we have no creativity. We have no running game. We have no anything like we used to have. I would bring back Jeff Scott, Chad Morris in a heartbeat right now, and you would see a noticeable difference in our offense.
Mhm.
It's him. I
We'll
think
see.
the players have bought into Dabo, and I think they are all in on the program. They're all in on everything. They're just not being coached very well.
Huh? Again, but that goes back to leadership.
Well, true,
But that goes back to Dabo, right?
we've got a new defensive coordinator, which came from Penn State. So, you know, I don't know what to think of that. Penn State's usually had a pretty good defense. They've had good players on defense, and maybe it's just that with what he's got, nothing's fitting what he's trying to do. The
Maybe
problem
they
I
could
have
use
with
a
any
couple
coach
transfer
is,
players.
well, and maybe he'll get some. I mean, he just came in to this probably after the cycle of transfer too.
Right.
So
But also at the same time, the transfer portal is about to change, right?
exactly.
Only once a year
So
now.
we'll have to see what happens with that. But the one thing I hate is when a coach comes in and their complaint is, well, I don't have the players to fit my scheme. Well, then change your scheme to the players you have because that's what
Oh
a
my god,
coach
that angers
does.
me so much.
I know. It's like work with what you've got. Don't make what you have not work because it doesn't work the way you want it to. I mean, we used to always have good linebackers, and we have good linebackers. You know what? People are running all over us because whatever scheme he's putting them in, whatever defensive plays he's calling, they're not working because our linebackers are not stopping the running
True.
game.
That is true.
So I just don't know. I don't know how you. I mean, go out
I'm
there on defense. Your job on defense is get the ball. I don't care what scheme the coach calls. Get the ball. So you follow the ball.
but I'm gonna put this on again, and I know you don't want me to do this, but I'm gonna put it just like we do it with North Carolina. I'm gonna put this on Dabo because he is the leader of that
True,
club.
and
He
I'll
is
say
at
that.
the end of the day, the buck starts with him. And we'll see. I mean, like you said, they have some good couple of games coming up, so that could potentially help them out. So we'll see. Some
Yeah.
good conversation here with some college on our first show, doing some college talk, but we haven't even talked about our North Carolina, South Carolina NFL team, which is the hat that you're wearing. The
Yeah.
Carolina Panthers pulled off a good, decent win yesterday. I'm not going to say it's a great win, but it's a good, decent win. It's something that they needed because they were losing 17-0 in the first half. They couldn't get anything done, and all of a sudden they look a whole lot totally different ball club.
I know I call out Bryce Young on our text chain, and then all of a sudden it's a whole different game after I called him out. So he's still trash.
I was just going to say, I was like,
To Eric's point,
let's.
Eric's like, "Oh, he likes the quarterback." No, I still didn't like the quarterback. They won despite him.
And make sure you guys follow him also, Eric Profit, ePro. He is one half of Earn for an Average podcast, part of the Corporate Media Network. So listen, Bryce Young is still trash.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Like he may be the nicest kid in the world. He may be the hardest worker. All of that. I'm with you there. The problem is, dude, I'm sorry. At some point, your skill set is going to take you so far in the NFL, and and Carolina has been teetering. Like, dude, just draft another good quarterback. Stop messing around and just let's get a quarterback going.
Yeah. He made some good throws yesterday, a lot of them under duress because our offensive guard, left guard for specifically
Hmm.
is garbage. He couldn't block a wall. So,
Jesus.
I mean, Bryce was running for his life, but even when he wasn't, he makes bad decisions. He makes bad throws. He makes bad throws when it's easy, and he makes good throws when it's hard. And that's you can't live like
So
that.
frustrating.
Exactly.
And I would
And
say, like, how long is Canales gonna stick with him? I'm like, well, you got what's his name, behind him. I'm
oh
like
yeah, the red rifle, man.
the right rifle, like, all right, he's no better.
Yeah, I mean, he's past his prime,
Yeah.
so they really don't have anything good there. Um, I mean, if it wasn't for, I mean, McMillan showed yesterday why he was a top
Oh,
draft
this
pick.
kid
That
is
dude,
special.
he bailed Bryce Young out a number of times on some of those throws downfield. I mean, he made it look like Bryce knew what he was doing. Nah, he was just throwing to an area hoping that guy would go get it.
He's like this.
Just like Josh Allen with Keon Coleman, he can just throw it to the area, and Keon Mosley's going to grab it.
Yeah, well,
So
I have Keon Coleman on my fantasy football team, and he hasn't really done much about
yeah, I got
doing
him on
it.
my other one too, and same thing. He didn't do much for me last night, especially with the fumble. But
Yeah.
anyway, so Bryce just he's not the answer there. Canales inherited him anyway because he was drafted.
How
Even though,
long? How well? We also
at
got
what
to.
point can the coach go to the ownership and say, "Look,
Well, I was just
I
gonna say that because we also have a bad ownership
yeah,
here as well. That's something that needs to be said, right? The Panthers don't have good ownership either, so he gets in his own way. Like that's why when you're an owner when you're that rich and you're a CEO of a company, you should know when to like, all right, let me delegate and do things the right way. And then like that's why you hire a general manager. That's why you hire scouting. That's why you hire coaching, right? To
right,
do those things for you. Maybe you should concentrate on let's get this brand up to higher levels and concentrate on that. Listen, I'm a Browns fan, and the same thing happened a couple of years ago with the Browns ownership, where they wanted Johnny Manziel, where they wanted Baker Mayfield, where they wanted all these other players. They did not make sense, and they did not fit the system.
yeah." I mean, when's the last time that Tepper, with one of his other businesses, hired a regional manager out of college,
Right?
and that guy made him a lot of money?
No,
I guarantee it didn't happen. He has people that hire people, and he
let
needs to do
them,
the same thing with football. Is
let
you
them.
hire the people to get the people to make your organization successful. You give us the money, we'll make you look good. That's how
Ec-
it works in NFL.
Exactly, exactly. All right, guys, listen. This was our first show here in the Breakfast Takes Early Morning. We will be doing this every Monday at 6 a.m., 6 to 7, just an hour, nothing crazy, okay? And then, we'll keep it going, right?
Yep. There's lots of stuff to talk about. Like I said, we'll focus on Carolina sports. The Panthers. We'll get into some Hornets basketball once their season gets
Wants to
going
see,
here.
yeah, it was some
Um,
Carolina hockey.
some
We got
hockey,
some, yeah,
yeah, Carolina Hurricanes hockey, Charlotte Checkers hockey. We're going to focus on all levels of sports in the Carolinas.
absolutely.
When we get talking hockey, we'll talk about Florence has a new team in the Federal Hockey League. They start up this coming Friday. We didn't really. I'm just going to hit on this real quick before we get out of here too. The Charlotte FC. Uh,
That's right.
they
Both
beat
Charlotte
DC
FC.
United 1-0 to put them in fourth place overall.
They got
They're
the on the first round. They got a home field advantage on the
They got
first
home
round.
field on the first round because of their win back in September, and their last regular season game's coming up in 2 weeks on the 18th against first place Philadelphia Union. So
Woo, baby.
I may try to go to that game. I've tried to talk Rhonda into going to that game. She's like, I don't know if I can do soccer. So
Also, we got to give North Carolina FC, which is the United Soccer League. They clinch a playoff spot, so congratulations to North Carolina. See, they are here, not too far from where I live,
right.
here in North Carolina. So I'm very excited for them. Happy for them that they were able to clinch a spot. So good for them.
Yep.
I like
So
that.
lots of good levels of soccer, good levels of hockey to talk about. So, and
I'm
Eric,
excited.
Ed's not working out because he's doing this, and I'm going to
Yep,
go to work in a little while, which is why I had to get up at Ed's hour of before 6 a.m.
it's a great
to
hour.
get this hour in. So,
It's like, and I'm looking at my window right now. It's actually getting, the sun's coming up now. It's not dark, and I love it. It's just great getting up early in the morning. I love
yeah,
that.
I'm going to try. I told you, you got me up before 6 a.m. today, and I'm not going to do it the rest of the week, but I think I am. I'm going to keep that alarm set. I'm going to
Keep
get
it
up.
going, man.
I'm gonna get my walk in. I'm gonna start getting back to my walking in the mornings before 7 a.m. And I need to, and so that way next Monday morning I'll be wider awake than I was to start
I mean,
this one today.
let's not say wider awake. I mean, we'll just say we'll be here,
We'll be
right?
here, yeah. I still
So,
need my coffee. I'm barely through this, but I've had that much coffee.
oh, you still got it. You got
I
plenty of
still got
time.
I still got a lot. So,
Mrs. Mary was like, "Don't wake me up."
oh yeah, she's snoozing good in there. So the cat, I actually went down there. Our cat that we have now, usually about 6:30, he'll come up there to the bedroom and start like loudly, purring, meowing, whatever. And like, come on, dude. I
I
went
mean,
downstairs to make my coffee at like 5 till 6 or so,
yeah.
and he looked at me like, "What the hell are you doing down
Like,
here?"
whoa, 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 bro.
Like, I got you up.
And Eric, and by the way, just so you know, like I played on Saturday. I played baseball Saturday, so I needed yesterday. I was sore. My back was sore, my shoulders were sore, my arms, my legs, my quads, everything was sore. So like I went a little too hard on Saturday playing baseball. So these 2 days I'm okay with. And besides, I'm work from home today, so I might, do a little quick lunch workout. So there you go. So I'll still work out. Don't you worry, buddy. Don't you worry. I'll get my workout in. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, we'll be back on Monday at 6 a.m. Breakfast eggs with Dad Hat and the Mayor. Yeah, and then it'll be all Carolina sports, all Carolina
Yep.
sports.
Yep. We'll dive into anything and everything, and hopefully you guys will get up with us in the morning, get your coffee, and throw some questions at us if you want to
Absolutely.
get in on the conversation about anything North and South Carolina sports related.
I love it. All right, guys. Take care.
Bye.